Greetings, everyone, and welcome. I'm the Chancellor Soul Mike Boone. You tune in to another edition of Soul Facts, a show highlighting the history and music of legendary artists and preserving their legacies. In this edition features a lady whose sassy, bold, lively, and full of spirit, tell her like it is demeanor placed her in the top status of the R&B blues genre and has dubbed her the Queen of the Blues. Soul Fest Spotlight Artist presents Miss Denise LaSalle. Born July 16, 1941, or some sources say 1939, in rural Lefferts County, Mississippi, Aura Denise Allen, better known to the music world as Denise LaSalle, worked in the cotton fields of Humphreys County, where her family located while Denise was at the tender age of 7. As an adult, LaSalle moved to Chicago in the mid-1950s, where she participated in a gospel girl group called the Sacred Five. Her musical influence was the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin. Denise was an ardent reader and read constant periodicals, from comic books to True Confessions, a magazine founded in 1922 that targeted at young female readers. Allen fantasized in becoming a writer and submitted a few of her stories to the publication. Although her stories were published in the issues, she had not received any payment. So she contacted True Confessions and did finally receive a settlement for her writings. Thus far, this experience had enhanced Denise Allen's gifted ability to write songs from ideas and poetry. Yet without any connections in the music industry, Allen maintained her life as a barmaid at Mix's Lounge at 51st Street in Calumet on the south side of Chicago, while continuing to jot down more ideas on paper in between serving customers. The patrons became intrigued and inquired what she was doing. She would answer, I'm writing songs. One Friday afternoon on November 22nd, 1963, a tragic ordeal took place that shocked the nation and the world. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy. All the patrons came to the lounge to watch the event on television. One of the guys introduced her to a singer-musician named Billy the Kid Emerson, who had a local hit record on the Impact label entitled The Whip, Part 1 and 2.
You'll make the trip, and I'll pop the whip.
Emerson was a regular customer at the lounge, and Allen asked him if he could look at some of her songs. Billy said, sure, can you sing them? She said, yes. Emerson later picked her up that afternoon and jotted down to her place and made a tape of her voice. Emerson then took the tape to Chess Records, where a representative of the company heard and loved her voice and asked to meet her. Billy brought Denise to Chess, and after a brief meeting, they asked her to come back and cut some songs. Allen returned to Chess and did a vocal overdub over 3-track recordings of the featured artist, Little Miss Cornshucks. One was a standard called Try a Little Tenderness.
Oh, while I'm waiting, try a little tender now, yeah.
Afterwards, Denise was signed to a contract on the spot. Billy the Kid Emerson soon became her manager. While excited about her addition to the Chess family, the company never recorded her. However, one of the guys at the company inquired why every time she'd come, Billy Emerson would appear. Denise says she felt more secure with Billy's presence, so the label's wolves won't take advantage of her vanity. You know, her being young and pretty. Allen's one-year contract with the imprint was up, and since Chess didn't do anything for her, she wrote a letter asking for her release. Chess Records soon relinquished Allen from her contract. Shortly afterwards, Billy Emerson cut a single on Allen on his Tarpon label entitled A Love's Reputation in 1966, composed by Emerson and Denise herself, but she didn't receive any writing credits.
I've got a love reputation known all over this world.
The song sold X amount of copies locally in Chicago.
I'll steal your man, little girl.
Chess got wind of it and purchased the master from Billy and distributed it on his label. The record flopped, but got Allen some road work. A Love's Reputation was issued under her new stage name, Denise LaSalle. The name LaSalle was inspired by a cartoon in the newspaper where a girl from France came to the United States. Her name was Buffy LaSalle. Denise and Billy Emerson's business relationship became embittered when she was to appear on a show at the Regal Theater in Chicago, sponsored by legendary WVON disc jockey E. Rodney Jones. The Red Sanders Band was scheduled to play for all the acts, but Emerson assisted his band back up Denise. Words were exchanged, and LaSalle was automatically dropped from the show and never knew the reason until later, because of Billy's persistence and arrogance.
I've got a love reputation known all over this world.
After the release of Love's Reputation in 1967, Emerson and LaSalle collaborated on more Chess singles, including Private Property, back with I've Been Waiting, and Countdown and Fly Me to the Moon, back with A Promise is a Promise, her last Chess single that she produced with her then boyfriend, Bill Jones. Arguments and tangled with disagreements between LaSalle and Emerson led to their departure. Denise in told credits Billy Emerson for being a nutrient mentor that propelled her for the future in the business. Now independent and experienced, Denise LaSalle would seek a new opportunity in music as a soloist and also as a businesswoman. In 1969, Denise LaSalle and Bill Jones got married. Within the 2 years, Denise continued to gain work through a song A Love's Reputation. Together, her and Jones founded Craig Jones Productions in Chicago. Now, the first 3 letters of CAR is from Craig, a maiden name LaSalle used from her first marriage, and JON are the first 3 letters of her husband Bill Jones's last name. Craig Jones Productions incorporated 3 labels, Gold Star, Parker, and a self-titled imprint, Crayon, that distributed independently. LaSalle and Jones were their own production team, writing and producing the material for their signed artists, as well as owning their own publishing. In addition to the Crayon umbrella were 3 artists: Bill Colday, musician and singer from Coldwater, Mississippi; The Sequins, teen girl group from Chicago, consisting of Veronica Ronnie Gonzalez, Linda Jackson, and Dottie Hayes, was spotted by LaSalle and Jones doing a club appearance. After accumulating funds from their 2-year savings, Bill and Denise traveled to Memphis, Tennessee to record with musician, songwriter, producer Willie Mitchell of High Records. The connection between the 3 was through a disc jockey friend, Al Perkins, who cut songs on the label as well. The first song LaSalle cut with Willie Mitchell was the classic 1966 Billy Butler remake of The Right Track, issued on both Parker and the Peace labels, along with Too Late to Check Your Trap, both released in 1970.
I'm gonna keep on stepping, never looking back, 'cause I believe that I'm on the right track. Too late to check your trap now. Somebody's got your thing on. Oh, yeah.
Too Late to Check Your Trap was also featured on LaSalle's Crayon imprint, back with Heartbreaker of the Year. Meanwhile, two of LaSalle's Crayon artists were topping the R&B charts with the sequence Hey Romeo, number 34 R&B, October 10th of 1970 on Gold Star. And Bill Coday's Get Your Lies Straight on Crayon, number 14, March 27 of 1971.
Get your lies straight. Get your lies straight. Get your lies straight, baby. Hey, hey, get your lies straight.
Major record companies show interest in Crayon's products, including one from California, Fantasy Galaxy. A deal was formed when LaSalle and Jones's business was brought out, including their signed artists, Bill Coday and the Sequins. Unfortunately, the Fantasy imprint failed to market or promote both artists, and in the meantime, their careers would suffer. LaSalle and Jones continued Crayon productions until 1974. Denise LaSalle's second effort with Willie Mitchell was Hung Out Strung Out, released in 1970 on a Parker label.
You got me hung up, strung out, crazy about you, baby. Oh, yeah.
The song's popularity in Chicago caught the attention of Armand Balladian, founder of Westbound Records in Detroit. Balladian, whose company distributed LaSalle's products, soon purchased the master and released it on his Westbound label after his conversation with Al Perkins, who of course knew Denise. The record sold modestly, but Balladian told LaSalle he wanted her to go back into the studio and record another song. She agreed. Armand gave her $15,000 to go to Memphis and produce another session. Denise then went to Memphis and recorded a song that would bring her international fame. Trapped by a Thing Called Love, the song that quintessentially continued the prominent sounds of Memphis during the early portions of the 1970s.
He makes me feel what I don't want to feel.
Let's start from the beginning, shall we?
Tell me.
Denise LaSalle arrived at Royal Studios in Memphis with a song called Keep It Coming. Producer Willie Mitchell thought it was a hot song. LaSalle said, well, I wrote another song. Mitchell then went to the piano and she began to sing. Willie was floored. The song was Trapped by a Thing Called Love. Denise added her vocals, and believe it or not, it was done in one take. When the session was over, LaSalle was adamant about Keep It Coming as the A-side, but Willie Mitchell told her she just recorded a million seller, and this is the one he was going to go with. The track was recorded by the cream of the crop musicians: Howard Grimes on drums, Leroy Hodges on bass, Marvel Thomas, brother of singer Carla Thomas, on keyboards. The horn section consisted of Wayne Jackson on trumpet, Andrew Love on alto sax. Jackson and Love were the architects of the infamous Memphis horn sound of the Stax Vault record era during the 1960s. And of course, on baritone sax, James Mitchell. Now, the background vocals were provided by Sandy and Donna Rhodes with Charlie Chalmers, who also would lend their voices on most of Al Green's recordings and so many others.
Hooked on this thing called love. Hooked on this thing called love. I'm slowly losing my mind.
Back would Keep It Coming.
And you keep it coming like I like it. Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Trapped by a Thing Called Love charted #1 R&B for 1 week on October 30th, 1971, and it sailed to number 13 on the pop charts. It was certified a million seller.
On this thing called
Denise finally received the well-deserved recognition she worked so hard for.
Somebody tell me, what is this man got?
During this time, LaSalle was working as a cashier in a supermarket called Dell Farms in Chicago. Denise would take a month leave of absence to travel to Memphis to record. She would often get teased by her neighborhood shoppers by asking her how she felt having her record played on the radio and she's bagging groceries. She quoted with a laugh, "It feels good knowing that I have some money in my pockets when I go home, because while the records are on the air, it's not paying me my money."
I'm slowly
After receiving her gold record of Trapped by a Thing Called Love, LaSalle quit her job at Dell Farms and never looked back.
oh baby.
Westbound Records issued more hit singles on Denise LaSalle from 1972 to 1976, starting with Now Run Tell That, back with The Deeper I Go, The Better It Gets, hitting number 3 R&B March 11th of 1972.
You've been telling everybody where it's at. Now run and tell that. Run on. That's what you better do now. Tell that. But the deeper I go, oh baby, the better things now. Oh yes it does.
Man-Sized Job, back with I'm Over You, number 4 R&B November 18th, 1972.
So just get out the way and let a boy do a man-sized job. It's been a long time coming, yeah. But I thank God I'm over you.
Meanwhile, the label issued 2 albums on Denise LaSalle. Trapped by a Thing Called Love in late 1971 that stifled in the lower portions of the Soul LP charts. Number 38, February 12, 1972. And On the Loose that was issued in late 1972. On the other side of the world, the UK issued the On the Loose LP in 1972 as well, with a different title, Doing It Right, and featured a different label logo and background. And the hits continue on Denise LaSalle on Westbound with What It Takes to Get a Good Woman, That's What It's Going to Take to Keep Her, back with Making a Good Thing Better, number 31 R&B, June 16th of 1973.
Well, let me tell you, boy, just what it takes to get a good woman. It's what it's gonna take to keep her. You can't start out a party man and wind up being a sleeper. That's what I call making a good thing better. Ooh, that's what I call making a good thing better.
Your Man and Your Best Friend, back with What Am I Doing Wrong, number 92 R&B, October 13th of 1973.
If you've got a man and a best friend, keep 'em as far apart as you can. What am I doing wrong to bring all this on me?
Don't Nobody Live Here by the Name of Fool, back with Good Goody Getter, number 67 R&B, February 16th of 1974.
Don't nobody live here no more by the name of fool. No, baby, he's a good goody, good goody getter. I'll spell it out, yeah, right down to a letter.
Get Up Off My Mind, back with The Best Thing I Ever Had, number 96 R&B, June 29th of 1974.
Boy, you better get up off my mind. And you ain't gonna make me lose the best thing that I ever had.
My Brand on You, back with Any Time Is the Right Time, number 55 R&B, May 24th, 1975.
Hey, baby, I got my brand on you. Oh, yes, I have. Anytime is the right time.
and Married But Not to Each Other, back with Who's the Fool, number 16 R&B, released during the spring of 1976.
When you're married, but not to each other. Now who's the fool? Tell me now who's the fool? Tell me who's the fool? When you're married.
Country singer Barbara Mandrell loved Denise's version of Married But Not to Each Other so much, she recorded a version of her own, released on ABC Records in 1976. Her third Westbound album, entitled Here I Am Again, was released in 1975. All the tunes were composed or co-composed by the Queen herself, Denise LaSalle. In 1974, Denise LaSalle divorced her second husband and partner, Bill Jones. Jones was unable to cope with his wife's star-powered career that overshadowed their marriage and partnership. Plus, it downgraded his character so much, he took to alcohol to conceal his emotional state. LaSalle, unable to deal with the ordeal, moved out of their house, gave up Crajon Enterprise, and left Chicago to relocate to Memphis, Tennessee for a fresh start. She met disc jockey James Wolfe and remarried. Her contract with Westbound Records had terminated in 1975 and decided not to renew because of the label's distribution problems, being a small company. Denise LaSalle would once again start a new life and sign with a major record company that would enhance her career and conceal her growing legacy.